Hey, it's the Scotch Test Dummies coming to you with an Ardbeg shootout.
Yeah, whole lot of smoke.
Woo! We're shooting some smoke, baby. Smoke! Smoke!
Let's test it.
Test it! All right, boom. Now we're doing this a little bit different. All right. Normally we do it blind. We do it blind and we got little notes down that say, hey, and you try to figure out which one's which. But one of the main things we do in a shootout is try to tell the difference between a family of Scotch. So Scott asked, hey, can we just know what they are? So what's this one, Bruno? What's this first one over here?
Hold on.
Hold on.
Let's get back.
Boom. Okay, so instead of us, sorry, we paused. We know what these are. So what is this furthest one out?
Well, what I wanted to bring, you wanted to do the shootout where we try to name it, and I said, I'm telling you, by the time I get one of these on my palate, I won't be able to distinguish nothing. And what I wanted to do, let's just set these up. We got the Ardbeg 10 Year, we got the Uigeadail, and we got the Corryvreckan, and we want to talk about the differences that we get between each one.
Well, the nice thing about having all three of them together is they're very close and similarities.
Yeah.
But you can kind of pick out the subtleties when you've got them right next to each other. So what's this one furthest out?
Grab me a couple crackers just in case.
What is the furthest one out?
Ardbeg 10.
Ardbeg 10 is out here.
Yep.
Okay. What is this?
Uigeadail.
Uigeadail here.
And Corryvreckan.
Corryvreckan. Hello,
Corryvreckan 57%.
Yes.
Uigeadail 54%.
Right.
10 Year 46%. Smoke and more smoke. So, all right.
You don't want to cleanse? You talk about cleansing?
No, in between each one, I might want to just see what differences I'm getting.
Threw me. I threw a cracker in. Now I'm not ready.
What did you do that for?
I don't know. You brought it up.
Okay, how about the nose?
Let me see the water real quick. Now I got to cleanse.
Smoke.
Hold on. Are they all the same though?
Smoke.
Hold on. Okay, they all got a little bit of that body putty, that Bondo.
Now I can tell you colors. The Ardbeg 10 Year is very pale.
Right.
The Ardbeg Uigeadail and the Corryvreckan are both much richer, much more color.
Now, are they adding color in it, though?
They show non-chill filtered.
The 10 is non-chill filtered.
That's the Corryvreckan.
Sorry, the Corryvreckan and the Uigeadail both say non-chill filtered. I noticed the 10 does not say it, or no, the Corryvreckan doesn't say it.
Oh, they were backwards. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, the 10 says non-chilled filtered. So does the Uigeadail, but I couldn't really find it on the Corryvreckan, which was interesting because they go out of their way to even highlight the non-chill filtered on these two, but not on the Corryvreckan. Nowhere does it say that there's no colorant, so we can't assume that it's not in there.
I wouldn't think that they would. They're using a dark green.
They're going to do it there.
They're using a dark green bottle.
True.
And I know the Uigeadail has been in a sherry cask as well.
All right.
So
let's start with the 10.
How about the nose though? Have you gone through? Are you getting anything different? I can tell you the 10 Year is a very harsh peat. The Uigeadail, I get a little bit of a sweetness in there. Rich as well.
Now again, Corryvreckan's the last one.
Yeah, Uigeadail's the middle.
The one that's the most subtle for me is the Uigeadail.
I think so too.
Okay. It's the most subtle. I can really get my nose in there without getting any alcohol burn. And it's the one with the least amount of what I call body putty. All right. Now that's a very positive smell for me. My dad's hobby was like working on old Model A's, and he was always had the Bondo, the pink Bondo out there. And that's what this reminds me of.
Ardbeg 10, I get peat and I get burnt matchsticks.
All right, Ardbeg 10, I get a nice peaty bog smoke. I feel like I'm out of fire, and I love it. And it's light, and it finishes quickly.
I get peat, harsh peat with the Ardbeg 10. Moving to the Uigeadail, there's a definite sweetness to it that's not present with the 10. A richness. It's, and I still can't tell you it's sherry that's in it though.
Wow. I get the distinct, there's back to back as fast as we're drinking, I can tell there's more complexity to it.
Yes.
That there's something on top of it.
It's richer. It's fuller.
It is, but it also lacks that kind of smoky ashtray-ish finish, which I dig because I like the
Okay,
smokiness.
on the finish, yes, it's not there, but that's because it's much smoother and it's much fuller, I think, and that sweetness is overriding it. The Ardbeg 10 is just a harsh peat. The Uigeadail is a sweet peat.
Okay. All right. I wouldn't quite call it a sweet peat. For me, the sweet peats are more like, oh, what did we try the other time that I was calling sweet peat? You remember what that was?
The Amroot peated.
The Amroot was a sweet peat. Maybe the Kilhoman. Kilhoman?
No, it wasn't the
I
Kilhoman.
can't remember, but definitely the Amroot. All right.
The Corryvreckan, 57%. It's still drinkable. It's still palatable.
I just lost some. Palatable. It's
For me at 57%. And I'm just going to add a little bit of water.
This is my first taste
I'll
of
add
the
2 in
Corryvreckan.
there. I'm going to bring down the Uigeadail just a little bit as well.
All right, the Corryvreckan is the most subtle of the three for me. Interesting. Because the Uigeadail gives me the most upfront complexity, whereas the Ardbeg definitely gives me the strongest smoky peat flavor. And the Corryvreckan seems to gives me a little bit more of the smooth, everlasting aftertaste with, wow, almost like a warm clay underneath.
I can tell you the Uigeadail, and maybe I'm biased because this one's mine and the Corryvreckan is yours.
Yeah.
But besides just smoke, the sweetness is in it, and some of the wood as well. And it's just not a harsh peat that's slapping you in the mouth.
See, I love the Ardbeg 10. I'm a big fan of just the regular Ardbeg 10, which is not bad because the Corryvreckan is rather expensive and the Uigeadail gets up there too, doesn't it?
80 to 90.
You're right. And the Corryvreckan, I think, was 110.
Yeah.
So I'm loving the 10. The 10 is a keeper. If you like the peat smoke, the 10 is just beautiful. I don't get the harshness on it. I get a heavy peat smoke, which I'm looking for. But I know what you're saying.
Okay, the Corryvreckan there, I got a little bit of sweetness that's coming out, but it's not as rich as the Uigeadail. I think the Uigeadail has a little bit more of that sweetness in there with it. Corryvreckan is the same, but just not as much.
You know, the Corryvreckan gives me a lot more earthy tones.
Probably.
Yeah, and I would agree with you that it seems like one after the other, the Uigeadail is giving me the most complexity, where I can tell there's some layers in there, and the layer that's in there with the Uigeadail is able to distinguish itself from the peat, which is very important.
Yeah, the Ardbeg 10, going back to it. I mean, it's just peat. It's just smoke. Ashtray. Let me get a little palate cleanser because it did blend with the others, but still, I don't get any of the richness. I don't get any of the fullness, the complexities that I get with the Uigeadail.
I'm on the Uigeadail right now, and I can't say I get the sherry sweetness, but I can tell, well, there's a little bit of the sherry sweetness in there. I can pick it up, and I think that is definitely what layers in there, and it layers in. That is hard to do, to take an Ardbeg peat and to layer in that sweetness in there with that peat. And having these three together like that, this is definitely the Ardbeg, what do I got here? This is the Uigeadail. The Ardbeg Uigeadail is definitely giving me the biggest kind of twist to the standard Ardbeg. Because I'm telling you, I really like the Corryvreckan a little bit better than the Uigeadail 1-to-1. But having them in this row, I am saying that the Uigeadail is standing a little bit head and shoulders above.
I think so. I think that's just because it's bringing more, to me anyway, it's bringing that definite sweetness.
Now, that being said, I'm a huge fan of the simple Ardbeg 10. I want a peated Scotch. The Ardbeg 10 is giving me everything I need with that in mind. It's almost a sole singular purpose. You want the peat, you want the smoke, the 10's bringing it. These are bringing it with a little bit more, but I'm telling you, so I'm loving the just regular Ardbeg 10. But I'm with you now. If I'm going to go buy something, goodness,
sorry,
if I'm buying something with it, it's now the Uigeadail.
I don't. The 10 is like the Lefroy to me. I mean, and probably to most people. When most people, if you think, go to the store, get a peated Scotch, you're going to pick up a Lefroy, you're going to pick up an Ardbeg.
Right.
Go to the store and get something that's sweet and peated. That's the Uigeadail. I don't know what the Corryvreckan is bringing to the table that the Uigeadail isn't.
I'm almost with you. I'm actually with you there. And you're right, it is a little bit less money. I'm amazed because when I thought of these individually, I leaned toward, I love the Ardbeg 10 as your 10, but I was leaning Corryvreckan, and I got to tell you, if I want something on top of the 10, I'm going Uigeadail. Now, all this being said, sooner or later, we haven't done any yet. We want to do a versus, and I told Bruno I wanted to open, it was his idea. I said, let's open a versus with the Lefroy 10 against the Ardbeg 10. And he said, yes. So when we do that, it'll be this Ardbeg 10 versus the Lefroy 10. You know what the problem was? I'd polished off my Lefroy 10.
And that one's not too far.
Yeah. So I will buy another Lefroy 10, not the cask strength,
now,
just the 10.
Of course, y'all know this, I prefer sherry scotches. I am keeping some peat at once. Very occasionally, I do want some peat. The Ardbeg 10 is mine. The Uigeadail is mine. If both of these are at home, I'm going to finish off this Uigeadail long before I finish off the 10.
See, I love the 10. I love the 10.
It's yours.
Well, really?
It's yours.
All right, well, I haven't even touched it because we're trying to save this for the verses. But love the 10. I don't need either of these. I will tell you, though, I'm going to have, well, heck, if I'm adding something, I want a little bit more on top of the 10, it is going to be the Uigeadail. Boom. Good call, brother. And see, and this is the benefit. Now, again, this is the first time we didn't do them blind. I'm seeing the benefit because I'm not sitting here like, oh, what is it? How good can I tell? This is the purest version of, I know what this is, I know what this is, I know what this is, and then I'm being completely honest on where they're falling with me. And having the similar, when we do a shootout, it's basically the family of the distillery and us saying these are going to be close to each other, but we're going to compare them directly to each other. I love it. And I'm now a convert to the Uigeadail. I am. I thought it was Corryvreckan before. Maybe it was this whole spiraling thing. But no.
Corryvreckan a little bit higher in ABV, 57 to 50. I was surprised that I didn't realize that Uigeadail was 54. I didn't remember it. Not that much difference. I think there's enough sweetness, enough roundness, enough fullness in the Uigeadail to declare it the victor.
Yeah, and you're right. The Ardbeg has a little bit of that harsh alcohol feel with that peated punch. And I love that.
Still a staple. Lefroy 10, Ardbeg 10, staple. Love them.
Love them. But I'm the first one to tell you at my very first tasting, they had some Ardbeg there. I was like, holy moly. I mean, it overpowered me.
I know.
And I couldn't handle it. And I remember thinking, God almighty, I don't like that. And it was Compass Box Peat Monster won me over to the smoke. And ever since then, I've been a huge fan of the smoke. So, all right, hopefully we brought something to you, having them all together. I want to say, Scotch it, you Scotch gods.
Cilantro.
Dummies.
Dummies. Oog-a-dal.